Hi everybody, welcome back. We are going to work on well-ordered language right now. Look, I even have a stool. Chapter 2, so grab out your book. It should be 2B. I hope I gave you the right book. If not, I apologize. Let me know if I didn't give you the right book, okay? Let's turn to page 27. And this chapter is compound elements. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of reading in here. I want you to follow along with me, and I want you to get your highlighter or your pencil and underline or highlight the important things that we're talking about. Okay, it says, here is a riddle. What has two parts but is viewed as one? Give up. It is a pair of jeans or a pair of sunglasses. A pair of blue jeans made up of two pant legs is really one piece of clothing, and a pair of sunglasses made up of two lenses and a frame is really one object on your face. Each pant leg of a pair of jeans is equally important. If you cut one leg off and went outside on a frosty day, you'd know why. It's the same thing with sunglasses. Pop out a lens and you will not see well because of the bright sun, and will end up stumbling around in the snow wearing your one-legged pants. That's certainly not coordinated. Our riddle has a grammatical answer too. Can you guess it? It is a compound element. What has two parts but is viewed as one? A compound element in a sentence. In grammar, when two of the same elements are joined with a conjunction, more specifically a coordinating conjunction, they function as one element and are referred to as a compound element. As you may remember, conjunctions are one of 8 parts of speech, and they are connecting words. There are 7 coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. 7. They join words in sentences that are equally important. They coordinate ideas, just as the waistband of a pair of jeans holds together the legs and the frame of a pair of sunglasses holds together the lenses. Under ideas to understand, we're going to go into more depth about it and look at some examples of compound elements. But first, I wanted to read to you the poem that they refer to in this section. And you should be able to find it in the back of your book on page 175. It is from The Crab That Played with the Sea in Just So Stories by Rudyard Kipling. Then the sea began to run back and back, and the canoe was sucked out of the mouth of the Perak River, past Selangor, past Malacca, past Singapore, out and out to the island of Bintang, as though it had been pulled by a string. Then the eldest magician stood up and shouted, "Ho, beasts, birds, and fishes, that I took between my hands at the very beginning, and taught the play that you should play. Which one of you is playing with the sea?" Then all the beasts, birds, and fishes said together, "Eldest magician, we play the plays that you taught us to play. We and our children's children. But not one of us plays with the sea." Then the moon rose big and full over the water, and the eldest magician said to the hunchbacked old man who sits in the moon, spinning a fishing line with which he hopes one day to catch the world, "Ho, fisher of the moon, are you playing with the sea?" "No," said the fisherman, "I am spinning a line with which I shall someday catch the world, but I do not play with the sea." And he went on spinning his line. And if you wanted to keep reading that whole thing, you might be able to find it online somewhere. I found the whole text of these. It's from Just So Stories by Rudyard Kipling. But this little section gives us many examples of compound elements. Things that are joined by and, but, so, for, nor, yet in sentences. All right, so let's go back to page 27. On the bottom, we'll look at ideas to understand. Writers use compound elements for conciseness. That means they can communicate an idea with fewer words when they use compounds. For example, it's more concise to write, Rudyard Kipling composed short stories and novels, than to write, Rudyard Kipling composed short stories. Rudyard Kipling composed novels. The compound direct object, short stories and novels, condenses the idea into fewer words. Authors use compound elements for other reasons too, to add more detail in a description, to emphasize the importance of an idea, or to craft a style that sounds more like natural speech than formal writing. Rudyard Kipling wanted the tales in his Just So stories to sound spoken, as if they were being told by a loving, playful father for his best beloved child at bedtime. Kipling's style is full of compound elements. If you read one of the tales in his Just So stories, such as The Crab That Played with the Sea, you'll find many coordinating conjunctions, especially and. Below, we've adapted or changed slightly sentences from this tale to demonstrate examples of various compound elements. Here we go. Compound subject, compound verb, compound direct object, compound predicate nominative, compound predicate adjective, compound object of the preposition, compound adverb, and compound adjective. And we are going to go through all of these examples from the story. Let's see. Oh, wow. All the way up to page 30. So let's review them together. Compound subject. Here's the examples that they found from Rudyard Kipling's short passage. Beasts and birds first came forward. The furry beasts, the wild birds, and the colorful fishes played. All right, note the commas in the second example. This compound subject contains more than two nouns. Okay, we've got in the second example beasts, birds, and fishes. So we've used commas, of course. Also note the different adjectives modifying each of the nouns. Together, the three nouns function as a single subject. So remember, when it's a compound, there's really only one subject. They're functioning as one subject together. Compound verb, here are the examples. The eldest magician stood and shouted. Pau Ama rolled two eyes and waved two legs in the air. That wasn't from this story. The second example includes two separate direct objects, one for each of the transitive verbs. While rolled and waved function together as a single verb, in the air is an adverbial prepositional phrase modifying only waved. So there we have two verbs, rolled and waved, and one of them is modified. Okay, compound direct object. The magician searched every stone and every bunch of weeds. The nouns stone and bunch function together as one single direct object receiving the action of the transitive verb searched. Note that both nouns are modified by the adjective every, and bunch is also modified by an adjectival prepositional phrase of weeds. Remember those adjectival and adverbial prepositional phrases, because we'll be seeing them again soon too. Compound predicate nominatives. The example here is the two animal kings were the enormous elephant and the crafty crocodile. The compound predicate nominative follows a linking verb. Remember, were is our linking verb, and renames the subject. Kings equal were, elephant, and crocodile. One predicate nominative, but it's a compound. Predicate adjectives that are compound. Here's their example. Usually Pau Ama was mischievous and proud. So the compound predicate adjective is modifying, describing the subject, Pau Ama. Our was is our linking verb, equals mischievous and proud. One predicate adjective. Okay, compound object of the preposition. Here we go. The eldest magician breathed upon the sand and the rocks. the magician created the beautiful islands of Borneo, Celeb, and Java. The first sentence includes the preposition upon, followed by a compound object, sand and rocks. This is an adverbial prepositional phrase that modifies the verb breathed. The second sentence includes the preposition of, followed by a compound object. This is an adjectival prepositional phrase that modifies the noun islands. Okay, compound adverb is our next example. In the end, the moon pulled the sea up and down. So both of the adverbs up and down modify pulled. Where was the sea pulled? Up and down. The last compound example they give us is a compound adjective. The crab's claws were sharp and handy scissors. Both adjectives together modify scissors. Okay, whew. That was a long explanation, right? In all of these sentences, the compound elements function just as that part of sentence would function if it were a single, like two-legged jeans functioning as a single article of clothing. All of the compound elements include a coordinating conjunction. Finally, all of the compound elements may also contain other modifiers or subordinate elements. Okay. Whew, that was a lot. Let's pause for punctuation, and then I'm going to cut this video and start another one where we look at the sentences to analyze and diagram together. All right, but let's pause for punctuation first. We're talking about commas this time. A comma is used between coordinate adjectives. When two descriptive adjectives, each separately modify the same noun, separate them with a comma. The selfish, busy crab hid. Their note says, the crab is both a selfish crab and a busy crab. And they tell you to do the and test. Mentally add the coordinating conjunction and between the two side-by-side adjectives to determine whether or not a comma is needed. So their example, the selfish and busy crab hid. Pass, yes, it passed the test. So you would need a comma there. However, no comma is used between cumulative adjectives. When two adjectives are cumulative adjectives, they build upon each other, and a comma is not needed. The first adjective modifies the adjective-noun pair that follows it. So no comma between cumulative adjectives. Here is their example. The two tiny crabs scattered. So the adjective tiny actually modifies crabs, and two modifies tiny crabs. Okay, so these are cumulative. And we can do the and test with this as well. We'll try to put an and between it to see if we need a comma. The two and tiny crabs scattered. Does that sound right? No, it does not. So that one fails the test. We would not need a comma there because they're cumulative. All right, so join me in the next video to go through the sentences to analyze and diagram, and we will discover together how to analyze and diagram sentences with compound elements in them. All right, just a minute.